Hey guys, Jared from the Vinyl Corner, and today we are going to be doing my top 50 favorite albums of 2022 list. So, as is customary every year at the end of the year, I grab my 50 favorite albums of the year, really in no particular order, besides like the last handful. I tend to usually have a favorite of the year, and then the rest are really kind of commingled into certain sections. But this year was a really good year for music. It was a really interesting one for me personally, very developmental in life, I would say. But yeah, obviously you guys aren't here to hear about my shitty 2022 and how I learned from it. You're here to hear about my top 50 favorite albums of 2022, so why not hop into that list? So I'm gonna rifle through the first couple spots until we get to the top 15, and then I'll kind of explain a little bit more about my top 15. Obviously, I don't want to bog this video down. These are all very highly recommended by me, but those top 15 are definitely specifically ones that I want you guys to listen to. So I will talk about them a little bit, but let's hop into the list. All right, so starting off the top 50, at number 50, we have Fly Anakin with Frank. Number 49, we have Mavi, Laughing So Hard It Hurts. 48, MJ Lenderman, Boat Songs. 47, Ethel Cain, Preacher's Daughter. 46, we have The Weeknd with Dawn FM. Number 45, we have Billy Strings, Me and Dad. Number 44, we have Daniel Rossen, You Belong Here. At 43 is Gospel, The Loser. Number 42, Blue Aus Nord, Disharmonium, Undreamable Abysses. Then we have Death's Dynamic Shroud, Dark Life at number 41. At 40, we have Tana Talk 4 by Benny the Butcher. Number 39, we have Sarome, The Liquefied Throne of Simplicity. 38 is Cities of Vive with working title for the album Secret Waters. 37 is Diamanda Galas with Broken Gargoyles. 36 is Bjork with Fusora. Number 35 is Melody's Echo Chamber with Emotional Eternal. 34 is Wrecking Crew, Seedale Threat. 33, Rain's Deaf with a double split of Malleable / Rhythm Industry. 32 is New Pink's Dopamine Hell Dreams. 31 is Viagara Boys with Cave World. 30, Silk Money with I Don't Give a Fuck About This Rap Shit, I'ma Just Drop Until I Don't Feel Like It Anymore. 29, we have a Kai Solo with Spirit Roaming. 28, we have Artificial Brain with their self-titled album. 27 is Perfume Genius's Ugly Season. 26 is Shrapnel with Iron Lung. 25, we have Open Mike Eagle's latest album, a tape called Component System with The Auto Reverse. 24 is Boldy James and Real Bad Man's Killing Nothing. 23, we have Black Midi with Hellfire. At 22, we have Conway the Machine with God Don't Make Mistakes. Number 21 is Naked Flames with Miracle in Transit. Number 20 is another double one. This is Ka Languish Arts and Woeful Studies. 19 is Nicholas Craven and Boldy James, Fair Exchange, No Robbery. 18 is Quelle Chris's Death Fame. 17 is Black Country, New Road, Ants From Up There. 16, we have Pink Sifu and Real Bad Man with Real Bad Flights. And at number 15, we have Earl Sweatshirt's latest album, Sick. Sick was an album that I really loved immediately, but due to the minimal length of it, I was kind of hesitating putting it this high on the list, but after realizing how much some rap songs meant to me and all of that, it kind of really negates that problem. And it's just a killer record, cover to cover. There's no filler with it, really, and it's just one of those things. I'm a huge Earl fan, I'm gonna like it. Number 14, we have Just Mustard's Heart Under. Now, this was a band I had no idea about going into this year, and if I remember correctly, they only have 2 albums, including this one. But this is an absolutely incredible post-punky record. If you guys are into stuff like Joy Division and the darker side of things like New Order, definitely give this album a listen. These guys are creating a really cool atmospheric sound with this style that kind of bridges on that shoegazy element. But yeah, this was definitely one of my favorite discoveries of the year. 13, we have Otoboke Beaver with Super Champon. Otoboke Beaver is a really amazing band out of Japan, and they are making some of the most catchy yet blisteringly fast and ruthless punk music I've heard in many years. There's just this really cool duality between like the super fun nature and how intense the music gets a lot of the time, and they know that as a band and how to work around it and how to corral people into a certain corner of feeling. This album is just absolutely amazing. Definitely check out their last album as well, which I personally still prefer a little bit, but this was definitely a highlight of my year. Bear time. All right, at number 12, we have Blade and Echo 2K with Crest. This is the most straightforward pop release I think we've gotten from any of the Drain members so far. And I think that's what I like about it so much, is it's taking all of the interesting mold-breaking ideas of Drain Gang, but infusing it with more straightforward, like artsy pop ideas than before. Obviously, they've always had that art pop influence in them, but this one is the most straightforward, seeming like they're just trying to go for earworms and how catchy and great these songs are. And that's exactly what they are. They're all catchy, very full of substance, and they keep you wanting to come back for more, because even though you've heard these songs hundreds of times throughout the year, there's just a certain element that makes your brain kind of scratch whenever you hear one of these tracks, and I just absolutely love this and listen to it constantly throughout the year. At number 11, we have Westside Gunn's latest album titled 10. I know it's at number 11 and it's called 10, I apologize, but this is just more great Westside Gunn. I mean, Westside Gunn has been killing it for years. He does have certain spots where he's not the absolute GOAT. Certain albums aren't absolutely great, but this is just another heaping helping of great, straightforward, hardcore hip-hop. And Gunn just knows how to carry it. He knows the producers to work with. He knows the features to get attached to it. The first two tracks aren't as good as the rest, hence why it didn't quite crack the top 10 for me. But yeah, it's just an absolutely amazing project, and if you're a fan of Westside Gunn, you've probably already listened to this and enjoyed the shit out of it. All right, cracking my top 10, we have Richard Dawson's The Ruby Chord. I've been a huge Richard Dawson fan for a handful of years now, since Peasant came out, and he is just one of the people that consistently keeps breaking the genre ideas of folk music and how you can play into that and how you can rework old music into new ideas. This record is a really long one. One of the songs alone is like 30 or 40 minutes, but it's an epic track, and I hate that phrase, but it's an epic of a song. The way that it progresses and keeps transitioning into angles that are rewarding, fresh, and keep you engaged throughout this long experience, it's just a masterwork of how to manipulate emotion and how to keep people engaged with a record. So yeah, another home run from Richard Dawson. At number 9, we have Chat Pile with God's Country. This record got a ton of coverage this year, as it deserves. This is just a really unique experimental like rock album. It's got so many elements from different genres, whether it be sludge metal, mathcore, doom metal, noise rock. It's just got so many elements of extreme and experimental music that coagulate together to create an experience that's, one, really in your face with how open and aggressive it is, but also two, with again just how much cerebral stuff it leaves you to chomp with, whether it be certain lyrics or how they progress a song to make you feel a certain way. It's just a very unique album, and every step of the way it leaves you with something new to chew on, and it's just one of those albums that I listen to all the time, and it rewards listening more than a handful of times, which I've done way too many times. Number 8, we have Elucid's I Told Bessie. So I don't know if the review or the unboxing is going to go up of this first or this video, but if you haven't seen that video, go check that out, or if it's not out yet, anticipate that video soon. Elucid has been one of my favorite rappers for quite a minute now, and he steady releases projects, but this was his first major one on Backwoods Studios, and it is just one of the most interesting hip-hop albums I've listened to in recent memory. It just leaves you, again, like I said about Chat Pile, with a lot to chew on. It's not something that's going to be bombastic and in your face and make you realize like this is important upon first listen necessarily, but it's one of those records that the more you sit with it, the more you gain from it, and the outcome of how you enjoy it and how you interpret it from there comes from how much time you devote to giving to the album and researching some of the things you may not understand in terms of the lyrics or the references. So yeah, there's a lot to digest with this one, but that's exactly why it's making my top 10. It's a record that came out relatively early in the year and still right to the end of the year gave me a lot of pondering questions. At number 7, we have Rome Streets with Kiss the Ring. I don't know what to say about this. This was my favorite Griselda release of the year. Ridiculously hard instrumentals. Rome Streets' infectious personality and his really unique voice delivering some of the most braggadocious yet scary in a lot of regards. It's really, I'll punch you in the fucking face until you're bleeding to death, but it's also telling you, hey motherfucker, here's my ring, kiss it. This shit's worth more than your life. It's kind of just one of those things where it epitomizes a lot of what people seem to think about hip hop into a great experience that, while it's relatively short, it keeps you entertained the whole time. Tracks switch pretty consistently, and the attitude and the viscera is always switching up. So yeah, there is a lot of aggressiveness to this record, and that's what I like about it. It's just very, fuck you, pay me, I'm doing this rap shit and I'm doing it good. At number 6, we have Petrol Girls with Baby. This was just absolutely one of the most explosive rock records I've heard in recent memory. This album, just from the gate, kicks you in the teeth and tells you, hey motherfucker, listen up. A lot of this shit that we're talking about is important, and I don't have the fucking time to repeat myself. So if you're into punk music and you haven't heard this, this is one of the highest recommendations I can possibly give. Just cover to cover, extremely intense, socio-political focus, and weirdly enough, catchy. Again, there's so many of these songs where I was just like thinking of the choruses throughout the year, or certain parts of the lyrics that kept me coming back and just making me re-listen to this whole album with more urgency than even before. So this is just a killer all-woman punk record, and it does not pull any punches whether it comes to the lyrics or the instrumentals. Number 5 is definitely one of the most talked about albums of this year. This is Danger Mouse and Black Thought with Cheat Codes. This is just exactly how you do old school hip hop for the modern age. It's extremely thought-provoking and conscious, but it's got that old school boom bap quality with refreshed ideologies, whether it be the dusty instrumentals, which screams a lot of our modern underground. Black Thought is obviously top tier, without a doubt, one of the best rappers ever, from his lyrical capability and his flows to how he presents himself, and matching with a producing legend like Danger Mouse is just kind of a match made in hip-hop heaven. And this record really did prove that both of these dudes coming together was going to create something very special that's going to last a long time. At number 4, we have yet another rapper-producer collaboration with Rock Marciano and The Alchemist, The Elephant Man's Bones. Now, I talk a lot about chill, like cerebral things, because that's kind of what I'm into with hip-hop. I really like things that let themselves flow into you and you can take what you can get. Obviously, I love super aggressive shit too, but something like The Elephant Man's Bones pretty much epitomizes exactly what I like about more laid-back hip-hop. It allows a lot more of the details for the instrumentals to present themselves in a finesse way. And Rock Marciano is obviously one of the best MCs we have around right now. So for him to just be spinning circles around all of these instrumentals, to be given the space that allows him to do kind of whatever he wants, whether he wants to come with it right out the gate or if he wants to keep it like a pretty moderate thing throughout the whole song. Just any way that these two come together creates something very special on this album. And it's one of those records that for me just, again, really sums up what I like about the underground hip-hop scene going on right now. All right, cracking into my top 3. At number 3, we have Gais Guevara with There Will Be No Super Slave. Now, this might be the most innovative album I've heard all year. Gais is just taking so much from the conscious East Coast side of hip-hop with really deeply political lyrics, really caring about your flows and your cadence, but also taking the ideas of instrumentals, how to do sped up like chipmunk samples and stuff like that, and pushing it to the next generation. This is an album that As soon as I heard it, it made me extremely proud to be from Philadelphia because Gais is from Philly. Just knowing that someone from my general area is making something as innovative, exciting, and refreshing as this album really just kind of put a fire in my belly to keep promoting my local scene and to keep enjoying it. This record is just very urgent. It's very important. But again, it's something that you can listen to it 10 years from now and you'll still pick up on a little reference or a piece of political dialogue that you may not have previously. So yeah, this record is just like getting a torch to the face. It's extremely no compromise, but that's exactly why I love it so much. At number 2, many of the things that I said about the previous album I can say about this one, but this is Soul Glow's Diaspora Problems. This is my rock album of the year. This just might be the best punk record I've heard since I started talking about music on the internet. This album is just something so uniquely special, and again, to have someone from my general area of Philadelphia doing something so fucking amazing just really makes me proud of our local scene and how many great players are at it and all of the time and effort that I've put into exploring our local scene over the years. Things like this moment make me realize why I love music so much. This album is just cover to cover, combining so many elements of genres that I've learned to love over the years while paving out a new lane for themselves and being distinctly, this is Soul Glow. We are here to blow your ears off and to make sure that nobody feels comfortable in the room. And they absolutely nailed it with this album. Like I said, it's just one of the best combinations of noise rock, hardcore punk. It's even got some nu metal influence in there. It's got rapping in there. It's just got so many great elements that make up the music that I love and appreciate so much in one project. And I just listened to this a ridiculous amount of times this year. All right, and my number 1 spot, it is a double header of Billy Wood's Church and Aethiopes. Now, if I had to pick one specifically, if you guys wanted to make me pick one, I definitely would pick Aethiopes. That definitely is more the number 1 spot, but Church was pretty much just as good, and I didn't want to give a separate spot to it, so I lumped it here at number 1. Aethiopes is a record that has quickly already become one of my all-time favorite albums. It's one of those things that's taught me a lot about myself, the surroundings that I live in, and just how much I love this music that I find myself exploring. At first, it's a really great album and it sits with you, but then from there on, it kind of just keeps growing into something even more special. And right when I listened to it for the first time, I kind of already had a feeling that this was going to be a record that would change my life in a lot of ways. But as the year went on, there was just no other album that really even came close to the impact that it had. Like Soul Glow and Gais are very close. But this one, just right from March, it was just like, this is one of the best pieces of music I've ever heard. And it connects with me on such a deep level that I really can't explain. Obviously, I can't relate to a lot of the album, but it just kind of feels like something that was made for me in a lot of regards, whether it be sonically or lyrically, and how you're supposed to push forward using these new ideas. So Aethiopes and Church, definitely my albums of the year. Aethiopes is a record that is definitely a life changer for me and definitely deserved my number 1 spot. So yeah, guys, that was my top 50 albums of the year. Let me know down in the comments what some of your favorites were. What were some that weren't on my list that you enjoyed a lot? Just let me know down in the comments what you thought of the year. And while you're down in the comments, don't forget to hit that description. Check out all those links. Like, comment, and subscribe, and all of that good stuff. Don't forget to check out a video at the end of this one. And until next time, guys, have a nice day.